Welcome back everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about 5 different lures for chasing jewfish or slash mulloway. These aren't going to be your stock standard lures and not going to be used in the stock standard ways. I'm just going to show you some different lures I would use for a couple of different ways to chase these fish. And the one at the end, I'm going to do top 5, but I'm also at the end I'm going to push one more, number 6. And that one, wait till the end to see that one. That one is really old school. It works well, I can guarantee you, most of you don't know it. Okay? To start off with, we'll just get into it. We'll start off with just a normal soft plastic. That is sort of stock standard, but it's not your little grub tails, and we're not chasing school fish. So we'll start off with probably the most basic one of all. We're just going to look at say a 6-inch, okay, big paddle tail. With like I'm guessing that's about a half head, 3/8 to a half, and like a 6 or an 8/0 hook, rather big hook. That's if I'm going chasing Jew with plastics. This is the type of thing I'll be using. Okay. I'm not interested in chasing little schoolies like they do on Facebook. When I chase Jewies, most of you guys know I chase decent ones, like 30, 40 plus pounders, not little tiny schoolies. Couldn't be bothered. So if I was going to use plastics, which I'm not a big plastic fan for Jewies, but if I was, I'd be using this, and I wouldn't be using it just casting in the normal channels, guys. Something like this, I'd work on beaches. I'd bounce this through gutters on beaches. Through beach gutters, okay? And here's the catch, I wouldn't be doing it at daytime either. I'll be using this at night time. Fish and surf gutters at night, big plastics, nice big paddle tails. Okay, especially in southern New South Wales, southern Queensland, New South Wales and Victoria, South Australia. Big plastics, nice big paddle tail for action, and I'll be doing it at night time. Okay, so that's the first one. I wouldn't worry too much about just the rivers and chasing schoolies, not interested. The next one is something a little bit different. I know a few guys have been doing this in the last couple of years and it's starting to take off. And people are catching some really good fish doing it. Okay, what I'm talking about is using your shallow running vibes. Shallow running hardbodys, no, the jerkbaits, okay? But the catch is that a lot of guys, or not a lot of guys, but a few guys are starting to do this at night time. Over the flats, say between the new and full moon, okay, so moon rising, high tide, middle of the night, when over flats we've got roughly about 1 metre of water on them, so you want to know your area and you want to know what good flats for about 1 metre of water. And those flats at night time, they do hold bait and they got whiting and stuff over them having a feed and bait going up there for a feed. And some guys are cotton on and starting to use lures like this and big plastics like that and bigger, okay, and working the tops of bags very, very quietly, middle of the night with no traffic around, no one around, bit of moon, and they've been getting some nice fish, like 30-pound plus fish, jewfish, on these things in 1 metre of water. And I've got to tell you, that'd be a lot of fun. So if guys, you're not scared of the night, you know your area and you know your sandbars, and you know somewhere that holds a bit of bait and about 1 metre of water, high tide, go out and cast some like jerkbaits like this. But don't work them too fast. Jewfish don't like a real fast moving lure. They're a slow, how can I say it? They're a lazy fish. They really are. They're not going to chase these things going flat out through the water. You want to like rip it really a couple of times really hard to get it dancing, and then give it a really good long pause. So the main catch for these things is you want suspending. So the lures suspend and stay down deep. They don't just pop back to the surface. If you get a floating one that just pops out to the surface, it's not going to work for you. Because for these to work well, you want to give them a good pause. That's when the jewfish are going to hit them. Okay, so a couple of good fast rips will like get these things dancing, and then let them sit. Okay, so a suspending one, guys, and that's another way to chase jewies, and it's a fairly new way, and it's working really well. But like I said, you want to know your area. Okay, the other ones we're going to get to here, we're going to go back to the surf beaches. I can't even remember what brand of lure this is. I've had this for so long. I had about 3 or 4 of these and I've lost them in the surf. They're big fish over the years. So once again, just a shallow runner. This is a big lure. You can see a nice big deep body on it. But the thing I love about this lure, it's got like a rattle, but it's not a tingy rattle. It's like, you can hear that. And with this lure, it's got such a big slow roll. It's a very slow moving, slow roll, which is awesome on Jewies. So if you can find lures that look like something like this and go cast them in surf gutters over the moon, in surf gutters, okay? And once again guys, at dark. Everyone gets scared about using lures at dark, don't, especially for jewies and well slash mulloway. Things like this, surf gutters at dark, like late afternoon, early morning, even throughout the night. But if I was going to do it throughout the night, I wouldn't go down there all night. Work tide changes, especially high water. Okay, so you got a bit of water in the gutters, and you don't have to cast too far. Usually the gutters are pretty close, they're deep, and work lures like this through the gutters at night time over a moon. Just big, slow rolling lures, and they've got quite a bit of weight to them. So you put this on a decent carb surf rod, you can cast this quite a long way, and you get a nice big you can go for a slow retrieve, just get it doing that if you like. Or I actually like twitching, so you give it a couple of twitches and then just keeps slow rolling. So don't basically let it stop and float to the surface, because this is not suspending, this is floating. So I keep moving it. So I'm just doing this, and I'll do a couple of twitches and then just keep going, keep winding slow, just to keep the action going, keep it moving. And it's staying down a couple of metres or a metre or so. Okay, and these things work well. I don't know the brand name, guys, don't ask me, I can't remember, it's old. But if you can find something this sort of profile, fat, you can see how quite thick that is. Smaller bib, something like that, and roll them through the surf gutters at night time. Good way to find some big fish. Okay. The other thing, couple of things I wanted to show you here, this is going back to the sand flats again. You're going to laugh, good old barrel lure, so RMG. I'm going to talk about, if you go back up onto the flats, like I said earlier in the video, give let the RMGs a go. The shallow bib, so I'll dive about a metre. It's not suspending though, so this one's just not a twitching one, this one's just a slow wind, so a slow roll. So it's basically like this. They're a fatter body, they've got a nice big slow roll, so this, I'll just do a slow roll over the sand flats at night time for jewies. RMG, they're a well made lure, they've got good gear on them, they're made for big barra, so they'll definitely hold a jewie. And I'd give them a crack, and look, they come in mullet patterns and bleeding mullet. I reckon that thing would work really well. I haven't tried that one, but I reckon it would work well. So if you can't find anything special, try an RMG. Flat, slow rolling, and just roll them over the sandbars at night time, where you know there's bait or mullet around. I reckon a jewie would smash it, personally. Okay, now we're going to get to a little bit of old school, then I've got the real old school one. Okay, so going back to when I was a kid fishing down Victoria for Bowen Heads Bridge, we used to see mulloway, so low tide coming in, we used to put live baits off the bridge, and there's some lures you could use too off the bridge to catch jewies. And you'll actually, with all on the bridge, it's got the orange lights, and you'll see bait fish sitting in those lights, sitting there swimming against the current. You'll see mulloway come out from under the bridge, or the darkness come in and ambush the bait. Okay, so you know they're there. And it usually works best over the tide changes. So you don't want to go middle of the tide when a current's screaming through the river. So tide changes when the current's slow and just starting to rev up, but not too much current. And back in the day, you can't get these things anymore. That's like a big solid prawn. We used to like walk along the bridges, so back then you didn't cast lures out into the darkness and then work them back. What we used to do is drop them straight down, hold the rod out to a side, and just walk along the bridge. Just walk along. So these things are going next to the pylon, but every now and then, give them a twitch, so they dart up and then sink down like a prawn, then dart up and then sink down like a prawn. Okay, straight down basically under your feet near the pylons is where the jewies are ambushing and sitting. And I used to love these things. These are a big prawn. You can't get these anymore. I can't even think of the brand of that because that thing's old. But nowadays, you got these things. They'd work just as well. They would work really well off the bridges at night time. Okay, so once again, just because they're not super heavy, so you want to over a tide change. If you know a river or a bridge, you know where there's jewies they haunt, and you see bait fish of a night time sitting there in the current. Use a big prawn or something like this, and once again drop it down and just walk along, give it a twitch so it darts up and then sinks down. So you want to dart up and then just do a prawn thing and just float down, then dart up and then float down as you're walking, but you want to go along the bridge. Okay, and mainly the channel side. So if it's a long bridge, you've got like half sand flats and half deeper water channel. Generally we got the channel side, let it sink down a bit and then bring it up and let it sink as you're walking along. Just a slow walk. That's a good way to find some jewfish. Okay, big prawns. And the other thing about these, and people don't do it, once again, surf gutters, high tide, night time, over a moon. Cast them out. Good couple of twitches, let it sink down. Good twitch, let it sink down. I know it sounds a bit weird, prawns in the surf. It's not something you come across and you find. But surprisingly, jewies, they're a lazy fish and they've got something big in front of them, something tasty like a prawn, they'll have a crack. Okay? They're not the fussiest fish in the world. I know prawns in the surf sounds weird, but it does work, especially if you get them near a jewie. They're not that fussy. Okay, so try them in the surf. Now, last and not least, this one's out there. I got taught this one as a kid, once again down in Victoria. Back in the day when most of these things didn't exist, like you had lures of course, but nothing to, you know, like these type of lures. So I got showed how to make one of these things, and once again you walk along the bridge, you lift up and then you drop it really quickly, and it sort of looks like an octopus. So when you're walking slowly and you see the tentacles behind, then you give it a rip up and then let it sink, and all the skirts come up and it sinks, looks like an octopus. And jewies used to smash it, especially down in Victoria, because you get a lot of ockies and stuff around the rocks and stuff in the cold water down there. So what I'm talking about, guys, is this thing. Yep, just a normal everyday common skirt, but it's not like a skirt for trawling. I mean, it is a trawling skirt, but it's not made up on a trawling head. So basically what this is, it's just a skirt, 6 to 8 inch. Pink used to be the colour. Pink and white was the best colour, but I didn't have a pink and white skirt to make it. I had a pink and yellow, but close enough. 6 inch, 2 hooks, and a sinker. So basically this thing, when you drop it down in the bridge, low tide coming in, you just walk and it's like this, and then you give it a twitch, it'll go up, and when it comes down, all these legs flutter out. It looks like a squid, an octopus dropping down. And then you walk along a little bit, and you give it a twitch, it'll dart up, and then sink down, and all the legs will come out. It looks like an octopus. And the amount of jewfish we've caught on these things over the years. They're very basic, it's basically just a skirt. And how we rigged it up, guys, surprisingly just one of my favourite rigs, but with a skirt over the top. So all it is, you got 2 hooks snelled, usually about 8 2 hooks snelled, yep. A bead, back then we didn't have beads, so we didn't worry about beads, I was sitting straight on top of the hook. But now you can put a bead on and a sinker. Looks like a jewie rig for one of my low baiting rigs, doesn't it? Well, basically it is. And then we just had a skirt. We just went and bought a 6 inch skirt, pink for some reason, pink and white. Just don't cut too much of the top off so these things flopping everywhere. Just cut a little bit off and then poke a hole through with a needle or a hook, just so it's small, that it's nice and snug on the line. Okay, then you just put this squid down over the rig. You put the sinker up inside the head, like so. Just slide him up so the sinker's up inside the head there. The first hook's at the top there, second hook's down just inside the skirt there. That's it, that's your rig, that's all you use. Just walk the bridges, little twitches occasionally so it darts. So you bring it up and then it drops back down, the legs go out, it looks like an octopus. That thing, the simplest rig, simplest little lure you can make ever. And for Mulloway, over moons, low tide coming in, you know, walking around bridges at night with lights on. Give that a crack, guys. I bet you haven't seen or heard of that one, or maybe you have from your grandfather or somebody, but yeah, old school like that. And it works an absolute treat. Well, it used to. I don't think many people do it anymore. And to be honest, I forgot about it until I was going to do this video, and I thought, I need something old school. And I remembered that. And it's a long time ago. But it works, guys, it really works. Anyway, I hope these different types of lures and different ways to use them for jewies has helped you. It gives you a few ideas. Yeah, don't be stock standing, go and using your little curl tails, catching a few schoolies, guys. Give some of these a go, like I said, on the flats, in the surf, in the gutters, off bridges and rivers. Try different ways with these type of lures and try and get yourself a decent fish, like a 30, 40, 50 pounder. And if you do, let me know. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you again next week.